Tornado Shot with Mirage Archer that can bypass the limit, and it's probably not supposed to work this way, but I'll show you guys a smart game mechanic. So we're going to go ahead and throw it down just like we normally would. And then we can go ahead and do a little dodge roll. He's going to throw the things over there, and you can see you're going to melt everything super fast. And so the reason why it works this way is that when I do a dodge roll with a brand new Mirage Archer, it summons a clone. This clone, okay, can bypass the limit of Tornado Shot. Like if I shoot Tornado Shot, I have 2 additional arrows, so it shows that there's 3, then 1 goes away. When you have the Mirage Archer, it does not have this limit, and it bypasses the limit in the game. So I don't know if this is going to get changed or something, but again, you only really want to do this for bosses.
Storming arrow.
Ooh. All right, you guys ready for one of the new bosses? That was the new boss. All right, ready? Hadouken! Alright, Exiles, I'm here to give you guys an update on my one-shot lightning build for Lightning Arrow and Lightning Rod. We actually discovered some new things with, of course, the brand new Mirage Arch that I want to go ahead and include, but for the most part, I'll be honest, you really don't need to use it unless you're doing specifically some sort of pinnacle boss. Most of the time, you can pretty much just spam Lightning Arrow and it'll clear up the entirety of the screen. So I wanted to give you guys an update to the build, as I have changed some things and made the build a lot smoother, as of course this is a brand new update and there's a lot of newer things. So for starters, in terms of the gear, it's going to be mostly the same, but I'll kind of go over briefly just in case you're watching this for the very first time. We definitely want to try to get a Gemini bow, or any bow that really has high damage plus additional arrows is kind of key here, but getting flat lightning damage, flat physical damage, and percent increased physical damage are kind of the key stats to have. And now getting plus level of all projectile skills in specifically 4 is very achievable and cheap, with one of the brand new essences of Greater Battle being very, very easy to actually get. So that's what we kind of want for our bow. Our helmet is going to be pretty much the same. You want a big amount of energy shield. That's the only thing that really matters here, plus a bunch of resistances. If you want to go for increased item rarity, you can go for it as well, but pretty much, I don't really go for item rarity. I just kind of play the game, and if I want to go for basically currency, I do crafting. But you can do whatever you want to. Again, if you do throw in increased item rarity, just know that the build's going to be either less tanky or deal less damage, but there comes to a point where you really don't need any more damage, so therefore you can go for that. The amulet is pretty much going to be the same. We actually don't need Spirit in the amulet. I think Spirit on the chest piece is just a lot cheaper because I try to keep my builds budget friendly. However, if you do get an amulet that also has Spirit plus level of projectile skills, it can get very, very pricey fast. Specifically, you want like +3, yeah, it goes up in price very, very quick. But the thing that you want on the amulet is energy shield, evasion rating. There is an essence for global defenses, which is really good, and then on top of that, getting level projectile skills, and again, resistances is key. And then with your quiver, you're trying to go for specifically the penetrating quiver here, so you want chance to pierce the enemy, as well as getting extra bow damage skills, lightning damage, or physical. Getting accuracy is key here in the bow because it's kind of a stat that doesn't really increase the price very much, and it is a good stat. And then getting attack speed and projectiles, as well as getting extra dexterity, can really help out in terms of getting your attribute points situated. Now, as far as the rings go, we ideally want to try to shoot for max res, so amethyst rings can really help out with this, but as long as your resistances are max, that's basically what you want to go for. You want flat lightning damage or physical damage on your rings, and then if you can get maximum life or evasion or any sort of defensive stat here is okay. Again, evasion rating or even accuracy is an alright stat, but mana is actually quite nice to have as well. It just keeps your mana pool comfy, but mana is not an issue with this build for the most part, unless you're trying to set up for those lightning rods before a boss fight. Then you may have to pop some potions, but for the most part, you don't really need to pop mana potions at all. This just kind of helps give that bigger pool of mana so you can spam a lot more often. The most important thing to mention if you are new to this build is making sure that you get leech over on one of your rings. You need some sort of physical attack damage leeched as mana. This is really helpful because, again, during the bosses, because you're going to be spamming so hard with these lightning arrows, it will basically facilitate all of your resources here. And then in the other ring, you can go for some sort of attribute. You can also go for mana per enemy killed on a ring, or you can also get this in a jewel and restore percent mana per enemy killed. You can get like a 1% one, and that's all you really need to really sustain your mana, as the leech is great for bosses, but you need the flat mana on kill. And also, you can also get life per enemy killed. That really helps out. You can also get it in a jewel. However you get it, it just keeps the build up at max HP, because we do take a node that gives us 40% attack damage when our HP is full. And since we do hybrid energy shield and evasion, it kind of works out quite well with that combo there. But again, same thing with the other ring, just trying to get resistances as well as getting HP and flat lightning damage. Then for the gloves, the only thing that's special with the gloves is you want to try to lock in some attack speed, but again, lightning damage, max life, plus mana or evasion is okay as well. If you get a pair of gloves that also have energy shield, you can get flat energy shield, and that's just as good as getting HP. So that way you can buy an item for a lot cheaper, but you can get HP as well. It doesn't really matter. For the belt, it's pretty much the same. You're just looking for resistances. Ideally, you try to get a plate belt. This can give you up to 5 to 7% physical damage reduction, which is quite good in evasion-based builds because, well, you don't really have any armor, and the plate belt is kind of the best in slot. But it's a lot cheaper if you do buy a non-plate belt, just as a heads up, as they are more premium, especially if you want a plate belt with armor and maximum life. It gets pricey quite fast, especially when you throw in that chaos res. And then for the boot, just movement speed is the most important stat, then HP as well as a bunch of resistances is key. You can also get boots that have even more movement speed, but those get pricey really fast. So again, I try to keep my builds budget friendly. And then for the flask, there's not really anything other than like percent of it replenishing your HP instantly. And then this is some newer update that I definitely wanted to add as I had progressed in the game. So I really like running one random charm that can activate and give us guard. Fire is kind of the most common damage, so I just decided to go with the ruby charm over here. There are other charms that can give you onslaught, but they're very, very expensive. So the other option that you can run, if you don't want to run the one that gives you onslaught, I don't even have it in the gameplay, but I recommend running a thawing charm over here. This is going to be used when you become frozen, as there are certain strong boxes when you click on them, they just freeze you, and it's like it just feels bad. So I really liked running a thawing charm over here, and then also a stone charm. This can help you not get stunned. It doesn't prevent heavy stuns, but basically I like this while riding the Roa, because getting knocked off while you're riding the Roa kind of does suck. But basically these help out a little bit for again, certain strong boxes or any sort of mechanic like that. And then with the mana flask, you can activate the recover instantly over here, and then it'll make things a little bit smoother. But one of the newer updates for the gems, which we'll go over next, is Rakiata's Flow. This is a very expensive gem, just as a heads up, but it is something that can make your build much better. You can one-shot most of the stuff even without this. I was doing it before. It depends on what sort of content that you're doing. If you are looking into pinnacle bosses or super juiced up maps, this is a great addition to the build as it inverts the resistances, but at the moment of me recording, it's nearing like 30 divines, so again, it's kind of more of a premium item, but if you do use it, I mentioned like what to swap over it, and ideally you would want 2 of these, which becomes very pricey. I do not have 2 of these, but if you can throw it in lightning arrow and lightning rod, that would be the ideal goal. And then obviously the Mirage Archer combo is something that we can briefly go over, as it's kind of important for the build. So basically, all you do is the same exact thing for the build, which is basically you throw down lightning rods, then you go ahead and throw down your tornado, and then you go ahead and activate your barrage. But then after your barrage, then comes the dodge roll with the Mirage Archer, because it bypasses the tornado shot limit, just like the little intro clip over there showed off. And it's really, really good for big DPS. You can see I'm not really doing it here because I have enough DPS to kind of just comfortably just shoot lightning arrow until the thing dies. But if I really wanted to go flashy and I really want to do pinnacle bosses, or I needed to be a carry service or something, then yeah, I would do the full combo every single time I come across the boss. But since I prefer running the Roa mount, it's kind of optional. If you don't want to run Roa, then just do it every single time because it's not that difficult. But if you're running the Roa, then you have to jump off the Roa and then do the roll. It just adds a little step to the build, but it is definitely going to give you more DPS if that is your goal. Yeah, and then also I did add Stoicism to the build because Roa doesn't let you dodge anyways, which is what we're going to talk about now, which is the updates to the gems. So we play Lightning Arrow, we play Elemental Armament, Rapid Attacks, Lightning Attunement, Charged Shots, and then also Stoicism. These are all great options over here to really increase your DPS. This is what one of the newer additions here. Again, it just allows you to get extra damage, and that is based on you not dodge rolling, which is really awesome because you literally just get free damage. And then Lightning Rod, you can run Elemental Armament, Rapid Attacks, Lightning Attunement, Long Shot, or you can run close. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want to do bosses from far away, most of the bosses will come up to you. So you can run close combat or stoicism, doesn't really matter. Just anything really is totally fine over here, because this one, it only supports the attack scale, not like everything. It's not like Innervate. But you could run long or short here. I probably would recommend, because most of the time you're doing lightning rods on the boss. But if you're just transitioning into this build and you do want to stay further away, it's, again, up to you. And then Herald of Thunder, Elemental Armament, Lightning Attunement, Elemental Focus, Magnified Area, Lightning Mastery, Tornado Shot running Prolonged Duration, Concentrated Area, Overabundance, Wind Dancer, we run Maim as well as Knock Back, Ghost Dance with Compressed Duration. This gives us the ability to gain a bunch of energy shield when we evade. And then with Barrage, Cooldown Recovery, Second Wind, Deliberation, Rapid Casting. Then with Called Shots, which automatically activates our Voltaic Mark, which we're going to be running Elemental Armament, Magnified Area 1. There is a one that gives you extra AoE, but it lowers the damage. It doesn't really matter, though. If you want to run that one, that's fine. Lightning Mastery, as well as Lightning Attunement. This is how we get the free Lightning Novas. So the Roa is actually something I really did like now, because it just makes your whole build so much smoother and faster, as well as our new armor, which is the Swift Stalker Coat, as a recommendation over the Slip Strike for the super premium endgame here. And it doesn't really increase the price too much. In fact, it's actually cheaper until people finally discover that well, there's a better armor than Slip Strike. So I run Loyalty in here. You have to, by the way, socket Loyalty first if you want to put in Brutus Braid. This makes it so your minion can never die, which is actually pretty helpful if you're doing some bosses and you do want to dismount, but it doesn't really matter too much because you're going to be on it most of the time. But then also Mirage Archer, we play Tornado Shot, Overabundance, and Concentrated Area. Remember, Mirage Archer is not the same in PoE 2 as it is in PoE 1. In PoE 1, it just kind of activates on top of your head, right? In PoE 2, you have to do a dodge roll, and it's really like clunky, because it's only really good for bosses, because if you dodge roll while one already exists, it's unable to create a new Mirage Archer. It's really clunky and bad. I have no idea why they made it just so bad, but it's really good for bosses. But other than that, it is just terrible in terms of like how good it is. But yeah, again, what you would do for the boss is you would uncheck your row amount, and then you would check in Mirage Archer if you want to do the combo. Again, it's a little bit of a gimmick, and again, it's mostly just to give flashy DPS, one-shotting things, and that was kind of the point of the build. Anyways, and I was doing it before Mirage Archer, but if you want to go to higher tier pinnacle bosses or juiced up maps, you may need it for, again, the bosses only. And then also, we've updated the passive tree. But one thing that I really want to recommend you guys to get is a Swift Stalker Coat. This gives you up to 30% reduced slowing potency debuffs on you. This is like several passive points on the tree. I know it gives a little bit less evasion, but I promise you, you will thank me later. When you're starting to do endgame stuff where everything is Maim, Hinder, Grasping Vines, Chilled Ground, like this map over here, it's like, or like you're cursed with Temp Chains, this is what makes this armor so much more valuable. And again, right now, at least, it's cheaper than Slip Strike for like the base type. I could already see this going up in price in terms of like the demand, because again, it's just objectively better for high-end content. But as far as the tree goes, this is what we've got. So as far as the Ascendency goes, we get the Endless Munitions. We get the one that gives us, you can get either one. You can get the damage to close or far away. If you want boss damage, get the one close because the bosses move towards you. And then we get Called Shots, to how we automatically activate that Voltaic Mark that gives us like 60% plus effect of shock, like on the enemy. It gives you crazy amounts. And yeah, it's really good. And then we of course run Tailwind. Really good stuff indeed. As far as like these other ones, if you really want to take them, I just don't really see a replacement. If you have those really expensive runes that can give you additional arrows, maybe you can remove this, but for the most part, this is pretty much premium. If you really want to remove this and get damage reduction, that's fine too. As far as the build goes, there isn't really anything huge. If you have Ricadia's Flow, remove all the penetration. I put a note of that also. There's pen right here, and then there's also pen right here, but remove these if you have Ricadia's Flow, and then you can just get more survivability or more damage elsewhere if you want to. But one of the newer additions that I really liked adding to the build is Freedom of Movement. This gives you reduced movement speed penalty from using skills while moving, and reduced slowing potency of debuffs on you. It's a small amount, but again, I'm getting as much of this as possible. There is technically a smaller note here, but again, that's why I was mentioning the armor. It really makes your quality of life just go up through the roof in terms of the build. But yeah, if you have Ricadia's Flow, you can remove these ones over here and then get extra damage. You can maim in-game enemies. But that's like the main change that I wanted to go ahead and like mention. Everything else is pretty much the same from our last variant of the build, but getting things like Spectral Ward are excellent. This is going to give you massive amount of energy shield, and then this one over here with the Subterfuge Mask, the reason why we run an energy shield helmet is because it gives us a bunch of evasion anyways, and for 3 points we still get increased evasion and maximum energy shield. It's just overall fantastic. But yeah, this is like the build zoomed out. There isn't really anything that's super important other than if you're here for the first time, you want to get Walker of the Wilds. This is amazing. This gives you infinite mana sustain on the bosses, because I know sometimes when you're on a boss fight in the earlier stages, you run out of juice. You can't keep on spamming your attack. So just get this, get Leech. Again, remember, this is going to convert that physical to elemental, and we pretty much just do elemental anyway, so that's going to really help out with the mana. And then you can get mana on kill as another source of mana, and that way when you're killing the small stuff, you can see there's just no mana problems. I hate builds that have mana problems, so I just went ahead and solved that, and that was really easy because you're going to get this jewel socket anyways, so it's like 1 point basically, and then 1 suffix. You can also get it technically on your weapon for that leech, or you can get it on a ring or gloves. Those are the areas that you can get it in. But there's not anything, again, that's super important to mention that is like brand new to this variant of the build. At one point, though, I was actually going down over here, and I kind of want to have this as our anoint. So if you want to anoint something, this is great. There's also a special jewel that's, it's like 2 divines for the cheaper ones that can give you lucky chance on lightning damage, which if you can afford it, hey, it's not a bad jewel at all to throw in. There's a note also for the jewels. Basically, you want like attack damage, you can get like increased attack speed, increased bow attack speed. There's a lot of different ones. They don't show up all on like the Mobalytics planner, so that's why just read the notes if you are wondering what jewels are good. But yeah, that's going to be the update to the one-shot build. Again, read the notes if you are confused on anything. It explains the full combo, but I just want to give you guys mainly an update. But it explains the full combo. Again, just watch the intro clip if it kind of passed your mind, if you want to go ahead and learn like the full combo. So basically, to kind of sum it up how the gameplay plays, for the trash mobs, you just shoot lightning arrow. For a yellow one, if you want to, you can do lightning rod plus tornado shot and lightning arrow, and that will just do like the full combo right there. If you want to do it on the bosses, sometimes I'll be honest, I'm lazy and I just hold down one button because it'll kill it in 5 seconds. But if I do the full combo, it can be in 2 seconds. But sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I'm lazy. But if you want to do the full big DPS combo with the Mirage Archer, it'll take like 3 seconds to set up. But the DPS is just way crazier. But you have to dismount from the Roa. Yeah, I get it, makes it clunky, but it's up to you. Whatever suits your build and suits your like budget for your playstyle. Once you get Ricadia's Flow, you don't really need to do the Mirage Archer one again, unless you're doing a pinnacle boss. You're gonna one-shot the dang thing anyways with just like the basic combo on the Roa. So keep that in mind. If you aren't able to do it, then you can go ahead and add this for more DPS. It depends also, again, how good your items are. Don't expect to go from the campaign and just one-shot everything in the game. But you can get pretty damn close, honestly, because the build is so OP. It'll probably get nerfed next season, but who knows. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up. If you guys enjoyed the update in the video, drop a like on it. If you do, hit subscribe, turn the bell, and we may do a final update once we're like 95 plus. And we can go crit, but I'm not gonna lie, crit is super expensive to get a crit bow with high DPS plus all the stats that you want. It ain't cheap, but we'll be dropping that maybe later down the line. Anyways, take care, Exiles, and I'll see you in the next video, and the planner will be linked in the bio as well as in the pin. Take care, Exiles.